Hey, bud. Guess what? I'm going to read you some stories. Look what I'm going to read for you. It's the Grinch. It's the Grinch. So, we're going to read chapter 1. Now, this is different. This book doesn't have... This has just got words, see? So, you're just going to have to look at me when I read you stories, okay? So, chapter 1. Far past any place you've ever been, surrounded by snowy mountains and deep forests, was a beautiful, wonderful town, a town like no other, Whoville. Whoville was a happy, friendly place, full of happy, friendly Whos. But there was one time of year when Whoville became even happier. With festive decorations and music everywhere. In the weeks before Christmas, the Whos rushed around Whoville, buying presents, bows, glitter, wrapping paper, and delicious food for family feasts. On street corners, Whos handed out green wreaths and striped candy canes made fresh right on the spot. Lots of fresh, sparkling white snow fell on Whoville all through the winter time, and the Whos loved it. They rode snow bikes to work. They skied, they sledged, they skated. They made snowmen. A special machine even cranked out snowballs by the dozens for snowball fights. Yes, the Whos down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot. But the Grinch in his cave north of Whoville did not. The Grinch's cave towered high above Whoville, up on Mount Crumpet. A winding trail towards it was crowded with signs that read, "Keep out, beat it, wrong way, get lost." The Grinch did not like visitors. Through twisted iron gates stood a door carved into the side of the mountain. Through that door, in a well-furnished cave with a maze of rooms and chambers, lived the grumpy Grinch and his faithful little dog named Max. On the snowy winter morning of the 20th of December, the Grinch lay in bed under a pile of thick blankets, snoring. It was 5 days before Christmas, a fact that the Grinch had been doing his very best to ignore. The clock radio on the Grinch's chest of drawers clicked from 6:59 to 7 a.m. The radio began to play a loud and jolly song. The Grinch's eyes popped open. Groaning, he stretched out his furry green hand out from underneath the blankets and found a stack of books on his bedside table. He picked one up and threw it across the room at the radio. Whomp! But the radio just kept playing louder. Now a different, even jollier, even louder Christmas tune was playing. The Grinch threw a tennis racket at the radio. Whack! The station changed to one playing another Christmas song. Enraged, the Grinch finally threw a lamp at the clock radio, knocking it off the drawers and into a deep crevice in the rock. "Humph," said the Grinch, but just as he gave a satisfied little smile, the tinny notes of a festive tune drifted up from the rocky depths. It was still playing. The Grinch sighed. "Max!" he yelled. He yanked a rope next to his bed. Bells rang out through the cave. Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Max woke up right away. His master needed him. Tail wagging, he got to work making the Grinch's morning cup of coffee. Max did all of the household chores, and the cave was full of pulleys and levers to help him. He now ran up some steps to a small platform, pushing the plunger down into a coffee pot to fill up a cup. With a measuring jug gripped tightly between his teeth, Max poured steamed milk to draw a frowny face on top of the Grinch's coffee, like this. Just how the boss liked it. With the coffee carefully balanced on a tray on top of his head, Max backed into a mini lift. He pulled down a handle, and the creaky old lift carried him up to the Grinch's bedroom. Ding! The lift door swung open, and Max stepped out, careful not to spill a drop of coffee. Groaning and grunting, the Grinch took the hot drink, stood up and slid his feet into his slippers. He slowly walked to the bathroom, accompanied by the distant sound of Christmas songs playing from the bottom of the dark cavern. He grimaced. "The shower's just the thing to drown out that racket," he growled. The Grinch lingered a while in the shower, trying to forget about Christmas. When he stepped out, a blow-dryer turned on automatically, fluffing him up like a dandelion clock. He walked through a frame lined with bristles which brushed his fur and smoothed it down. Meanwhile, Max scurried into the Grinch's wardrobe to fetch his master's outfit for the day. Using his mouth, he tugged the cord to turn on the wardrobe light. Then he flipped through all the pairs of green trousers on labelled hangers. The labels read, "Bad day, disgruntled, grumpy, miserable, nasty, very miserable, wretched." Max pondered the selection. With Christmas so near, the choice was very obvious. Very miserable. Max pulled the trousers off the hanger and handed them to the Grinch, who snapped them on. Snap! Looking in the mirror, the Grinch used a finger to swirl up the curly tuft of green fur on the top of his head, saying, "Boop!" He swirled Max's tuft up too. Boop! Max wagged his tail. Now he looked his very best, or indeed worse. The Grinch was ready for the day ahead. But first, breakfast. The Grinch crossed his bedroom and plopped down into a big red chair under an opening in the ceiling. His weight triggered a spring that lifted the chair up through the hole and into the dining room. He arrived right at his place at the table. Max, who had already hurried up to the dining room, cranked on another rope. This rope snaked through a system of pulleys that lifted the cover off the Grinch's plate. "Oh, I am starving," the Grinch said, leaning forward to see what delicious dish Max had prepared for breakfast. He blinked. Sitting on the plate was a single bean. That's the end of chapter 1, bud. I'm going to start chapter 2 the next time you watch our video. Love you.